Hi, everybody. So it looks like, for whatever reason, the internet wasn't cooperating. As I was trying to mention, I'm on campus because my kids have a minimum day. So I was here for Multicultural Day and stuff as well. And I was hoping it would all work fine. I even connected to the Wi-Fi on my phone to create a hotspot, but apparently it was just too much. So what I'm going to do is just make a video here. And obviously, everyone will have to watch this later, but it will still give you that opportunity for extra credit. And I can give you a little feedback as well. So I'm sorry for the interruption. I'll go home next week and plan for that. But for now, let me go through a little bit of the stuff that I have for you. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I do want to make sure that you're not penalized for the campus having bad internet. So we are now in weeks 3 and 4. So as of Monday morning, week number 3 started and week number 4 is also open. Remember that everything from weeks 3 and 4 is due by Sunday, 4/20, April 20th at 11:59 p.m. So I want to give you a bit of feedback from weeks 1 and 2, and then we'll talk about what we have going on this week for week 3. So on Monday, what I did is I graded everything from the first 2 weeks. So you should see all of your scores in Canvas, your score for the first exam, your score for those first 4 discussions, any extra credit that you did from the Twitch sessions. And I would really like to encourage you to use those scores as a learning opportunity. And I do have a little thing this week, this little self-assessment that you'll do this week to help you with that. But if you look at your exam score, overall, people did really well, right? On that first big, kind of point item that we had with the exam, the average amount of time people took was right around 59 to 60 minutes, which tells me you had plenty of time. The average score was a very high B, kind of low A average. Lot of A's on the first exam, which makes me super happy to see. There were definitely a few people who didn't take it. I'm not sure what happened, but it might also be people who kind of dropped out or maybe had some other stuff come up. But for the most part, a lot of you did beautifully, and give yourself a pat on the back if that's the case. Use that as a learning opportunity. So if you did really well, keep doing the same thing in the second unit. If you wish you had done a little bit better, now is a great time to change things up. So you could always study a little bit more, study a little bit differently. But I think what I would love to say is kind of use that to guide you as you go into this next 2 week section. I also saw a lot of really great scores on the first 4 discussions. If you got the piece of feedback from me that I wanted a little bit more, or make sure you elaborate in your responses, try to give me a little bit more when we work on the discussions for this week and next week. I kind of gave that piece of feedback to a lot of people. So if you didn't give me very much, remember to think about them sort of like little mini essays. Elaborate, show off your knowledge and understanding and comprehension of the materials. Better to give me too much than not enough. But if you found that you missed a couple of points, right, try to give me a little bit more, be a little more detailed in your responses this week. Also, don't forget that peer response. There were quite a few people who didn't respond to a classmate, and those are kind of an easy 2 points to get. So you want to make sure that you're doing that so you don't miss out on those points consistently. So with the first 2 weeks in the books, we start week 3 and 4 again as of this Monday, and you can expect a very similar format and schedule moving forward. No spring break though, sadly. But again, if you didn't quite get as many points as you would like, now is a wonderful time to kind of shake things up as we go into the second fourth of our semester. So for week number 3, we're looking at chapter 5 and chapter 6, consciousness and learning, 2 very kind of interesting core topics to psychology. And as always, you're going to want to do 3 things with every chapter, right? Read it in the ebook, read through the lecture and click on any links, explore any videos, and then watch the lecture video of me talking and lecturing about the topic. So you'll do that for chapter 5 and chapter 6. You also have 2 discussions this week like you would normally, so let's take a look at those together. Discussion number 5, this one, as always, you'll see my instructions at the top, followed by my video. There's also a little sample here if you need a sample of what I'm looking for, if you want a little more like guidance because you missed a few points. But I think in general, if you're detailed in your responses and kind of think about them as mini papers and elaborate, hopefully that will help. So with this one, you're looking at dreams, which is a big topic of consciousness for this week. So watch my little video. I gave you some tips for remembering dreams. If you're somebody who really struggles with that, those might be helpful. There's also a little article here for you to read related to different theories as to why we dream. And so what I want you to do once you've read the article and watched my video is you're going to pick a dream that you had recently and that you remember with some degree of detail. Also, make sure it's something you're comfortable sharing. I will give you the little caveat that you're welcome to use an old dream if you remember it or a reoccurring dream. If you struggle to remember your dreams, you could always see if somebody in your life would let you use their dream. That's completely fine. But you're going to describe the dream that you had and then explain it from two different dream theories that are discussed here in the article or in the book. There's a lot of overlap between the two. But what I want you to do is take your dream and how would you use those theories to explain what it means and where it comes from? I really want you to also describe the theory. So make sure that you're making it clear that you understand the theory and how it would frame your dream, kind of interpret it from that theory. That's worth the most points. And then why do you personally think we dream as well, which is just kind of your own opinion. So when you're ready, you'll hit reply. And then don't forget to also reply to a classmate. And again, make sure you're thinking about these like mini papers, really elaborate and give me a good amount of detail, especially describing the dream and how it relates to those theories and describing the theories themselves. The other discussion for this week is related to learning. And so that's discussion 6. Let's click on that together. Just like the other one, you have my instructions followed by my video. This one, you're going to watch a little clip from The Office, great example of classical conditioning. And once you watch the clip, what you're going to do is answer these 3 questions. Thinking about the content from classical conditioning module and chapter that we read, explain how Jim was able to condition Dwight. Reference the appropriate terminology, describe the process. What happened? How did this work? How was this classical conditioning? I want you to identify the US, UR, CS, and CR in the clip, the unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, conditioned stimulus, and conditioned response. And then finally, other than amusing pranks, describe one way that you could use this process of classical conditioning either on yourself or somebody else in your life. And make sure that it's classical conditioning. If you're using words like reward or punish, you are probably in the realm of operant conditioning. So think about how you could use this in your life in some way. You could also think back a little bit to like smell memories. That's something that might be helpful for you here as we're talking about conditioning, as there was an element of that present. When you're ready, you'll hit reply, and then you can also reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. The other thing that you do have this week is I have a couple of these little self-assessments, and here's the first one. And my goal with these, there were 5 points, is to get you to reflect on your progress so far in the class. Is there anything that you need to change? Do you need to change your approach a little bit? You're going to be thinking about these questions. Please be honest. I'm not looking for anything in particular, just your honest reflection, thinking about your learning process and your growth, and is there anything you want to tweak as you move into this next section. So unlimited time, it's just 5 questions, but make sure that you take that at some point this week to reflect on your growth and progress in the class so far. The other thing, of course, is I won't be able to, since we're not live, right? If you're watching this, you can answer the extra credit question. This should give everybody an opportunity to get those 2 points this week, which is hopefully kind of nice. So let me give you the extra credit question and then some reminders. Of course, I will post this recording as you're watching it now. It's posted here. But if you look at a couple of quick reminders, don't forget that our next Twitch live stream will be next week, Wednesday, at 11:45. And I will go home for that to make sure that we have good internet. I'm sorry, I thought I would be able to do it here and enjoy Multicultural Day, but apparently those two things are not possible together. So that will be next week. Don't forget to also check your subscription status on Twitch if you have the opportunity. Otherwise, the extra credit question, I put it right here in the chat. There's a little video called The Attack of the Quack, and this is something that was in the lecture for this week, and I'll show you where you can find it. So you're going to watch that little video, and I want you to identify the US, UR, CS, and CR. And that should be great kind of review and another opportunity to practice what's kind of one of the more difficult concepts in this class. So if you're on our page, you'll go here to the lecture on learning, the chapter 6 lecture. And then it's on the very last page where it says application. Okay, so here is that little video right here, the attack of the quack, and it should be a little child brushing their teeth. This is the video. It's only a minute and a half long, but you'll watch this video. You're going to identify the US, UR, CS, and CR in the clip, and that's what you'll do for the extra credit. And when you're ready to answer that, since we're in week number 3, you'll go to optional Twitch extra credit number 3 right here. Click on that. Then you can click on Start Assignment up here at the top. And then it brings up that little box where you can type your response. And then when you're done, hit submit for your confetti burst and moons. I thought they were soccer balls. Moons, I think. Right. So make sure you take advantage of this opportunity. All of you can get those 2 points since we didn't end up having a live stream today. Again, I'm so sorry that for whatever reason, it didn't want to connect, but hopefully you're getting this video and still getting that opportunity. Since we didn't have a chance for questions live, if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy the hot weather if that's your thing. I am missing the cold weather so bad. I'm not a hot weather person. But enjoy the weather. Enjoy that we're getting kind of closer to summer. It definitely feels that way this week. And hang in there. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions. And I look forward to hopefully getting back on track with a regular live stream next week. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry again for the interruption, but hopefully this was good enough. All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye.